Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Gail Bean and Isaiah John about the season 6 of Snowfall on FX, the final season. Welcome to the show. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Pete Beats.
I mean, it's Isaiah. I mean, it's one of those things too, where season 6, the final season, but so much has kind of happened on the show, and so much after every season that always kind of sticks with me. Like after every finale of a season, it's just one of those shows. Does it feel like that on set too, where it's like, wow, like every season of this show just kind of ends a certain way that gets the audience just thinking about it for weeks after?
Oh no, that's every moment for me. Really, this season we have so many amazing performances coming up by everyone. So I'm literally every week I'm on a couch like this, just watching everyone's performance because I've been waiting for this moment to see it. So yeah, it's definitely every moment for sure.
What is that moment, Gail, episode to episode? Because, the weekly drops, there's so many different ways of watching content. They're all like, there's a lot of people just like throwing it all at once, so you binge it. There's the week to week. I mean, we like the anticipation, right? We like the kind of dinner table conversations, right? We like the week to week, right, Gail?
Yeah, we like the week to week. I don't know, some people binge it, but I don't know if my heart can handle it because at the end of each episode, we're on the edge of our seats. Me as a fan myself,
Yeah.
I'm watching like I haven't read the script. Like I don't know because even though we're not that far from it, I'm like, oh my goodness, no, please. So that's week to week. And then seeing people on Twitter and social media just talking about it, that gets you even more hyped.
It's interesting you mentioned that too, about everyone kind of talking about it. One of the things that I love about this show, and I talk about this with all my other colleagues that watch it, Isaiah, and I want to know if and I really started to see this a lot in like season 4 and on with Snowfall, but I feel like it's interesting. When you watch a show, Isaiah, you're like, wow, like this season, this character really grew, right? In like 8 episodes, this character really grew, right? Now it's like characters are not even just growing like after one episode. Characters are growing like after like one scene. You know what I mean? What do you think about that? Do you notice that in the scripts for that as well?
100%. Because this is the final season, there's a lot that we have to cover in this last season. So you're going to see a lot of growth in scenes because we try to maximize this time because we have a lot of story to tell. And there's a lot to look forward to. We're only in episode 3 and so much has happened already. So just imagine what the next 7 episodes are going to be like.
And Gail, I'm always like walking on eggshells about like talking about like the specifics of the episodes, and that because like you don't want to spoil things, you want to go into details, and I feel like, especially with like so much more to come, you know what I mean? It's gonna be tempting, but I do want to say Wanda is a fan favorite, and I find it's awesome. I'm just curious from your perspective as a storyteller playing this character, what do you think people like the most about this character specifically?
She's fun. She's fun, and they root for her because I believe that they see parts of themselves. They see their friend, they see their aunt, their mother, their neighbor. So they know her. I think people know Wanda in every aspect, whether they just know the comedic side of Wanda personally in their daily life, or whether they just know someone who was an addict, or whether they knew someone who was a girlfriend and she's rooting for you. I think people also can tell that Wanda is loyal.
Yep.
Despite giving away the recipe.
The loyalty is, there are a lot of, it's funny though, because it's funny you mentioned the loyalty because Isaiah, this is a show where there's some people that aren't very loyal to certain characters, right? So I feel like the loyalty kind of stands out when we see it with Wanda because we're not getting that all the time, right?
But, I think Leon is definitely the most loyal in the show. But his woman is a reflection of him. So, she been loyal and holding it down as well.
That's a good one. I see you.
You can answer this with like Wanda and Leon in in regards to their growth and everything. But one thing about this show that I've noticed, and you can answer this specifically with your characters, because I want you both to answer this question. We'll start with Gail, but self-reflection is something a lot of characters in Snowfall do because they're kind of thrown so much and they have to kind of think about solutions and how to kind of fix these relationships and fix these kind of conflicts that they're in and everything, and doing a lot of figuring things out and soul searching and self-reflection. During the pandemic, we as individuals did a lot of soul searching and self-reflection because we had the time to do so. So I feel like Snowfall becomes more relatable because of that self-reflection component I just brought up. Gail, do you think about that at all? Or like not as much, or maybe you're thinking about it now? Like, I'm just curious about that.
I definitely think about it. During the pandemic, that we were filming season 4, and that ironically lined up with Wanda getting shot.
Yes.
You know, her tooth coming out, and she actually has that moment where she's looking at her reflection in the mirror. So it was just done so beautifully, and the timing lined up to where we have that moment. We have the moment of her getting shot and being in the hospital and having to purge this drug out of her body,
yes,
and being able to reflect with the stuff that she's done during that season. There's an episode where Leon and Wanda are walking in the projects after she's gotten clean, and she says one thing, you know, you have to do is be honest with yourself and be honest with others around you, because Leon is like, why don't you just not tell them? Just leave it out. So I have to reflect on my character and some of the choices that she's made, the places that she's been, where she's at now, which also led to, I thought it was just timing wise lined up because I was confronting my own self-reflection with it being the pandemic.
That's the content we are eating up right now, is the stuff that's like, wow, like this is hitting hard, because I was thinking about all of these things. Isaiah, do you want to add to that a little bit, like the self-reflection component?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's what life is about, especially if you want to grow in life. You can only grow if you are looking in the mirror, you know, to know where you're growing from. So that's all Snowfall has been since the first episode.
Yeah.
You know, literally it was self-reflection. And even in the first episode of Snowfall, when Franklin sees his dad, you know, drunk, like that's a reflection in itself. Like, this could be you, you know. Just depends on your life choices, you know. So and of course in personal life, like I'm all about self-reflection and growing and all that stuff like that. But yeah, definitely.
It's interesting.
Isaiah, I felt, so that episode when Melody was really in the thick of it, and Franklin was looking back and making all, you know, he called Wanda weak, and did you, from Leon seeing it from that vantage point of Franklin going through what he went through, in that moment, you were able to reflect on, you just came from that. Right. You literally had to deal with that. And now you're seeing someone else go through it and how it might have looked when you were on the inside. You know, now you're further away from it. Before you couldn't see the forest from the trees, but now you're further away from it and able to reflect from a different vantage point. I feel in so many instances, we're only able to reflect from where we are and not from a different vantage point, which Snowfall gave us that ability to both reflect our characters and us personally. By going to Africa, we was in Ghana reflecting.
Right. For sure. Absolutely.
It's the deep components of the show. It's the show that people talk about. It really is. I see it online. It is the show that people talk about and relate to a lot of these characters. And the fans, because that's my next question, is like the fan base for Snowfall. Because I see it, part of my gig kind of doing Popternative is you got to see what's out there, right? On the message board, the social media and everything. And people love the characters. We've established that Wanda's a fan favorite. They like Leon as well, they do. But like, Team Wanda, right? But like, what do you think about the fan base and the fandom and the viewers of Snowfall over the years working on this show specifically? What can you say about the Snowfall fans?
It's very diverse. I've had I'm literally every ethnicity come up to me and say that they appreciate the show. Not that they just watch it, but they appreciate it for what it is. So to me, that speaks volumes because we're able to touch people from all kinds of walks of life. You know, not just people who are from the hood or, you know, or from this background, like people from all over. And even when we went to Ghana, literally, when we got off the plane, before we got into the airport, just on the jetway, we had the Ghanaian workers at the airport literally pulling out their phones like Snowfall, Snowfall. So that was like surreal for us because we're like, wow, like we're even impacting our people in our native continent, you know. So it's been amazing to see how many people support this show.
Do you want to add to that, Gail, the fan base of the show?
Man, they're dedicated. They're our fans. Like our fans are the most important people because they are the reason we made it to 6 seasons. Shows don't do that anymore. So just their commitment to us, to our storyline, to Snowfall, to our individual characters. Let me tell you, I love them. We have the best fans in the world. And I just know that they don't make them like that no more.
I know it's so well said. And episodes of the final season of Snowfall, season 6, are rolling out on FX. Gail, Isaiah, this was so great. Thank you so much for your time. It was really great chatting with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very quickly, can you plug your social medias if people want to keep up to date with anything? Isaiah, like, is Instagram is the best way to keep up to date with everything?
Yeah, my Twitter, it's the same on both. It's Isaiah K. John.
Awesome.
And same here. It's Gail Bean on Instagram, on Twitter, everywhere. It's always going to be Gail Bean. I don't have a TikTok or anything else, but yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been Popternative, the final season of Snowfall on FX. Until next time, this is Gail Bean, who plays Wanda, Isaiah John, who plays Leon, and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.